Peace, poise, power. Am I popping? No, I'm not popping. Greg, can you hear me back there? Yep, okay.
Good morning. Good to see you all. You can hear me? If I could welcome you in to take your seats. It's time to settle in. Please silence your cell phones. If you have an open container, we're okay with water, but anything else we ask you to leave closed in the sanctuary. Come on in. On Sundays after service, we have one of our prayer partners who will be available for you today. They will be in Darwin's Den following the service. And you can also send your prayer requests online on our website. And on the back of your pew, there's also a piece of paper that you can fill out with a prayer request. And then our ushers will come later in the service, and you can put it in the basket then. We are continually growing our membership. And if you are interested, we have applications for you. We have a new welcome table in the back there, and we ask if you're new here that you come to the table at the end of the service so we can tell you a little bit more about Althea and invite you into our membership if you would like to. You can also talk to our board president, Bob Burkaw, about becoming a member here at Althea, or Reverend Christina. You are all invited to assist us in providing fresh flowers for our service every Sunday. This week, our flowers are presented by Catherine Heat in loving memory of her parents. If you would like to participate in Flowers for our service, you can contact our volunteer coordinator, Christine Anglik. After our gathering on Sundays, we invite you into the dining room for coffee, tea, and refreshments. It's a delightful time to connect with our community. We provide the coffee and the tea and the refreshments, but we need your help with our delicious treats. Today, after our service, we are going to have our annual general meeting. So it will be directly after the service today. At this time, we will be reflecting on Althea's journey in 2024, including all our financial updates, special events, workshops, and classes. We will also share an exciting preview of what's ahead for 2025. There will also be a very brief Q&A that will take place just before the 2025 report. And after the meeting, please stay for our gong bath. You can come join us and bathe in the sound and vibration of the earth gong and other sacred sound instruments in glorious range of vibrational frequencies. So that's today, directly following our meeting after service. And it's really wonderful. I can attest to that. It's very healing, very beautiful. And now I'd like to welcome Reverend Christina.
Good morning. Welcome to Althea. Welcome back to all of you beautiful faces. Welcome to all of you online, on Facebook, and later on YouTube. Althea is a non-denominational spiritual center steeped in spiritual truths of abundance, oneness, love, peace, wholeness, and divine sacred meditation, prayer, and manifestation. Thank you for being here. If you're new to Althea, I will ask you, please stand up so we may honor you. And if you're new watching us online, please, you may also put in a prayer request on our Facebook. So any first-timers, any first-time shy people? Okay, just checking. So anyway, welcome back. And now, Connie Carter, who is our prayer practitioner, but we have we have someone? Okay, well, welcome. Feel free to stand up. We will applaud you. There you go in the back. Welcome. She's right there. Welcome. And welcome to your family. Thank you for being here. Connie Carter is our prayer practitioner who's going to pray us in. And also, if you want a sacred time of affirmative prayer, Darwin's Den is right across the way. Connie will support you. Thank you.
So good morning. As we take a breath and move into that sacred space that is already created within you, that space that is alive and with there, always present, for that one mind, that one truth, that one power that created each one of us, supports us, guides us, and loves us. So it is in that space that we take a breath and we drop to our heart and we feel the power of love that has brought us to this place, to this moment. For we have each chosen to be part of this service this day. And in that choice, we have come here with open hearts, ready to receive the good that is ever present, that has been empowering this building for over 100 years. And so in that presence, in that power, we accept the good that is alive within us, around us, and through us. And we know that as we move through this day, that the words that we hear, the music that we anticipate and vibrate to, the love that is shared through handshakes and hugs, that it is all good and it is all for us. For we each deserve that love that is always present. And so for the workers that keep this place alive, for Reverend Christina, for the board as they present us the information in our annual meeting. For all of that, we give thanks. We know that it is good, and we release it, letting it go, letting it unfold exactly as it needs to. And so in that space, we say thank you. Thank you, infinite wisdom. Thank you, divine love, for all that is good and present in this moment, right here and right now. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Together, let's recite Althea's statement of being. God is all. Please stand if you're able. Thank you. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Thank you. So welcome back. Greg Wilkins is a sound practitioner and sono-alchemist who has worked with the healing power, vibration, and sound for over 30 years. He's also attended the State Institute of Sonology in the Netherlands, where he studied the physiological and the psychological effects of sound on the body, and he is a healing Reiki master and Dishka blessing giver. So I'm going to invite you. This service is a little different because we have our meeting afterwards. Take this time to meditate. You will feel energies. He's going to perform twice today. This is the first one. Just sit and be. If you're willing, gently close your eyes. Feel the seat. Because meditation together is like a prayer. So welcome back, this beautiful soul, Greg Wilkins. Thank you, Greg. Thank you.
That was powerful for me. These are two readings for today's sermon. This is from Catherine Ponder, Unity Minister and author. Get your mind in divine order, and a mighty force will begin to work for you immediately. This divine order is necessary to the building up of both mind and body. Divine order is a vigorous stimulant. It uplifts the whole consciousness. And from Esther Hicks, is an American inspirational speaker and channeler and author. Momentum really is the most important aspect of deliberate creation that you could consciously contemplate. Because what momentum says is, once you get going in that direction, it is more likely that you will continue in that direction. The more we think it, the more momentum it gains, and the more true it feels, whether it serves us or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Greg. Momentum. This is momentous occasion for growth. Some people on the planet thinks this is hard times, Book of Revelation, challenging times. This is a time that spiritual warriors are created. This is a time, if you've been reading spiritual books, going to ashrams, or even if you're new to such a thing, we get to practice this. You don't get to practice in peaceful times because everyone's just going with the flow and, oh, everything's great. But when challenges come up, that's when we get tested. But also knowing there's momentum of Christ consciousness on this planet. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the second coming. That's the truth. It's not a man on a cloud. That's fiction. The energy is oneness. The energy is power. It's a movement. Now, even when Greg is performing on his gong, it's an energy moving. Everything moves forward. And I don't know about you, but I've been hearing a lot of people, we're going back into history. We're going back into time. I will continue to say this, that's physically impossible. Energetically, it's impossible. We get to control it. The more we think about it, the more momentum it gains. So I'm going to ask you something. What are you thinking about? Because if you're thinking from a place of fear, you will get fear. If you're thinking from a place of lack and limitation, you will manifest it. So this month is about momentum, and this is the last of a 3-part series. The first one was the magic of momentum, because it is magical. We get to use that force. There is a force greater than thee, and we get to utilize that. That is truth. So where are you using your energy? I really want you to think about that. Because if we keep saying things are bad, guess what happens? You get to manifest that for you. A long time ago, I talked about there were millionaires and billionaires created during the Depression, which is true. And I got a fiery email from someone. As a minister, we get those. Well, that's not true, and that's not fair. It is true. And this long email where I felt for, she's a young woman, said that her family were broke. And her uncle lived next door, not far, from the Fords, and came up with an invention for a car. And her uncle became wealthy, and he didn't share it. You understand what was manifested? One part of the family was wealthy. The other part believed they were always going to be in a poorhouse. 4 generations or 3 generations later, she's still in the same situation. And her anger about her uncle was still manifesting in a lower thought form of not enoughness. Got that? You cannot manifest for someone else. You can't. I know a lot of people don't like hearing it, especially if it's a lower thought form. And I'm going to say something really charging when I hear, because we are in political challenges, no matter what side of the aisle you are on, in our country and in our world. When you wish someone else dead, guess what? As my great-grandmother would say, that's dark magic, y'all. But you're manifesting a death for yourself on some level. It may not be your physical death, but it could be in a relationship, it could be money or finances. So, what are you manifesting? Are we manifesting peace? Are we holding on to oneness? When people tell me they want a better life for themselves, well, what's your consciousness? Because you do get what you think about no matter what, whether you want it or not. Now, for a lot of people, that's base level, but I think some people need to be reminded. I know some days I need to be. Like I said before, these are interesting times, and we're being challenged. Are you up for the challenge of raising your frequency? And not pointing the finger that they should, because we're very quick to say what they should do. What are you willing to do? Really think about it for the rest of this year. What are you manifesting? What are you holding on to that doesn't work? This is written 1958 by Anna L. Palmer. She was a student and a writer within a divine science organization, which this was a college for divine science, many years ago. Revelations revealing of the inner spirit to the consciousness of man. Sorry, typo. Of man. What's our consciousness? What are we holding on to? Are we holding on to fear? Are we holding on to not enoughness? Are we ready to let it go and be peaceful? I've been teaching a workshop called Herstory. And Nona Brooks, one of the founders of this center, when she met with challenging times, in her writing, she would ride her bike, one of those old bicycles, remember, from the 1800s. And she would just chant to herself, I love you, to total strangers. And she said she didn't mean it sometimes, but then she started to feel it. And some of those challenging men that didn't want her and her sisters to be in this building, to do energy healings. These women, back then, they would consider them witches because they were doing energy healings. People could hear like the bones coming together. There's a rumor that had happened on Clarkson Street. Someone fell and broke their leg. That was magical then and now. That's Christ consciousness. But her chanting, I love you, changed the frequency of the other individual. Now, some people in some religious organizations would say that's manipulation. You can't manipulate with love. How about we start beaming love at our cell phones when we see something we don't like? Instead of going into and all the fussiness that we humans love to do, and start loving the situation. Love raises a vibration. A short story. In 2011, I did not like my job at this $10 billion corporation that's still in Colorado. I will not say their name. I was dealing with challenging people. I even had a challenging boss that was fundamentalist in her Catholic faith. I mean, real fundamentalist. She reported me to HR because I had a Buddha statue on my desk. It was just this tiny. It was offensive to her. So this company, oddly enough, is owned by mostly Jewish people. And she would just go off. Her whole office was filled with Catholic paraphernalia, which didn't bother me. I went to Catholic church part of my life. But anyone else that didn't believe in it. And at the time, I was in spiritual school at Mile High Church. And a minister asked me, you just got this face. I'm like, well, if this stuff works, how come I'm still at this job? And the minister said, because you don't like it. I'm like, well, I don't understand that. She's like, let me reveal something to you. This is the real story of the book of Revelation, what she said. You're holding on that you don't like something. And you keep manifesting, and she's going to keep picking on you. Because I kept saying, what? She keeps picking on me. And she said, hey, I'm going to give you some homework, and you guys could try this. She said, go into work early before she gets in. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, I'll try all this. And I want you to just start loving the file cabinets. I'm like, oh, this woman's off her rocker. And start loving your desk. And start chanting, I love you to her. And then she said, I want you to hold a commitment of when you want to be out of there. And I picked the date of 11/11/2011. I love numbers. And she said, good, hold on to that. And you keep loving. Even it makes you sick to your stomach, even when she's picking on other people. She said, this woman is one of your greatest teachers since you're on this journey. And I started doing it, and then I got all rambunctious. I brought in sage spray, and I kept my office pristine. People started coming in my office. The big boss came in. I mean, we're talking, this guy's $1 billion and 90 years old. Helped co-found this company. And he said, people are loving the energy of this side of the building. I had plants and everything. And guess what happened? This woman got moved to another division. Then they asked me to start teaching spiritual classes. Yeah, that was a hint for ministry, huh? Because they said, morale change. And I told them, I said, I was told to just love. He's like, And this man is wise. And in his Jewish faith, he said in the Kabbalah, that's truth. He said, you shifted. That was alchemy. And this is a very corporate business. He said, that is the revealing. He said, if everyone did that, it shifts. And then he shared that story about Auschwitz, how some of the soldiers said they felt love in the midst of horror. That caused me to cry. And yes, I walked out the door of that company and got a new job on 11/11/11. That changed everything. So either with love is the most powerful momentum on this planet. We can beam it to individuals we don't like their actions. Because some people in this oneness movement, it's like, how can you love when you see negative actions of people? You don't love the actions, but that person is still from the same spiritual source, God, universal love, the divine field of love. That is truth, and that is law. There is only one of us in the room. The power of affirmations. Now, a lot of people, they're like, that doesn't really work. It works if you work it. I am. That's the message of Moses. The great I am. God has no name. We gave God a name. And some people are triggered by it, and I get it. And Moses is like, who are you? I am that I am. We are that. So I want you to look at your neighbor and say, you are magnificent. And I want to hear it. Come on. You are magnificent. Jason, you are magnificent. And now I want you to touch your heart if you're able. And say, I am magnificent. There you go. Say it again. I am magnificent. How many of you just felt something in your body when you said it? Yeah. Start chanting that. Because guess what? When you do that, you go out into the world with that. You get to shift energy. We are all energy shifters, despite outward conditions. And there are days, we all get it. I call them non-ministerial moments. But don't sit in it. Because there's a lot of stuff in the world that wants to put us in fear and not enoughness and, oh my God, the price of eggs. And then I see on the news the price of eggs are going down. I'm like, yeah, because people stop buying them. But there's other stores I see, the price never changed. Power of affirmations, knowing that you are protected and guided. One of mine is I live in a safe universe. Safety is very important for me. My childhood was unsafe. My home life was unsafe. I could come home from school and didn't know if I was hearing screaming, yelling, you name it. I grew up with gunfire in New Orleans. I received that affirmation when I was 20 years old. You live from a unity minister. You live in a safe universe. You live in a safe universe. I used to be a bartender, walk into my car at 2 in the morning, I could just feel energies. And I would just chant to my car. You live in a safe universe. And one day, there was a cop that pulled up behind me. He just flashed his lights. He's like, we've been watching you. Don't worry about when you get off from work late. We're making sure you're safe. See that? We're safe. So when you have a moment, be it in your personal life or the world of affairs, know you're provided for. And we live in a safe universe. That's divine energy, that's source. Knowing you can chant for your friends and family they are safe. Now, you can't make them feel it. But if you say something long enough, you know how you'll believe it. It'll be true. Like there's a phrase, fake it till you make it. I say fake it till you feel it. Feel into it. Because we all get to shift. There's a lady in this room knows where this picture was taken, Barbara. This is a waterfall in the area of Lake Titicaca in Peru. And that's 2 angel wings between it, if you really look at it. That's momentum. So nature is momentum. Nature manifests. And we are nature. Carbon beings. Creating new land. We get to create peace. And be oneness. If you want a peaceful planet, start saying, I am peace. I am peace. Thank you, Connie. I am peace. I am peace. I am peaceful. You will do your body a favor. You know, our bodies, pay attention to the words we say. It affects our cells. They've done readings on the brain. And even the book, The Power of Water. We are energetic, living beings. So ask yourself little words like that, or even writing them down, or hearing them. You could put some good stuff on YouTube and You could just play Louise Hay affirmations on YouTube and have them running in your house. You will shift the energy of your home. Guaranteed. I've done it. I walk through here sometimes during the week and no one's in here, and I'm chanting affirmations out loud, an affirmative prayer out loud. You find yourself in a traffic jam and you find yourself doing this, I do, and then I turn on something so I can stay focused and get home safe instead of causing stress in my body, instead of causing that fight or flight, because there's an energy that wants us to be in this fight or flight. It puts the garage door on God, on spirit. It's time for us to open up, to call forward that peace, because the more fear we have about war. I want to remind everyone the book of Revelation was not at the end of the Bible. It got moved there. And that's true. The book of Genesis is not the first book of the Bible. That's truth. Things got moved for what? Control. Not from a spiritual sense, from a fear-based sense. Momentum. We have momentum in our bodies, in our minds, in our hearts and soul. And it's time for us to shift our vibration to a higher consciousness. So no matter what shows up in April, May, or June, it's almost like we need to be like bullfighters. And just like, okay, this showed up, and just swipe it away. So I'm not going to let this take my peace away. To be in joy. No one has the right to take love from you and replace it with fear. No one, no thing, no energy. The reason I brought Greg here was for the meditation, because it is to set your day and your week. You can shift your response, not others, because all it does take is 144,000 conscious individuals to change the frequency of 7 billion. That's all it takes. And we're all a part of that. We get to choose. We get to choose to be on a higher frequency of faith. Even when things get weird, even if people lose their jobs, everything is temporary. It'll show up. Send love, be love, chant love. Yes, I felt like a crazy person touching the file cabinets. I love you. But guess what happened? When I told my minister friend, who's now a friend, what happened, she said, love and fear can't stay in the same place. It's either they're going to shift. So some people did shift, but it also spun me out to a better job. You get that now? Are you ready to raise the consciousness on this planet? Yeah. Yeah. Raise it. It starts with all of us. Starts with me. It starts with you. Even with, and sometimes those challenging people, they're our teachers. And sometimes they're friends, family, work employees. Yeah, they're getting a PhD in higher consciousness. So it's time for us to start graduating. To do it, try what Nona Brooks did. They paid off this building in 3 years. She was chanting affirmation where the building is paid off. She was constantly speaking positive. And one thing I would also say I will leave you with, patience. It doesn't have to happen in your head earthly time. Because the human, and I can be the queen of impatience, like, why isn't this happening? Now, you slow down because there is no time and space. Be present. Be in oneness and do what you need to do to care for yourself during these times. I just looked down at the clock. It's 11:11. Said I like numbers. Yeah, it's 11:11. Some scholars believe it's an Archangel Michael portal. Some alchemists says a portal of manifestation. So Greg, I'm going to have you start during this portal manifestation. I'm going to ask you to breathe into. The gong's going to be a little louder because it's about movement and manifestation. Pick an affirmation for yourself. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Slowly come back. Take a deep breath. Wiggle your toes. Feel your shoulders and back. Although you're sitting still, that moves energy. That's momentum. So now is the time of our giving and sharing. I'd like to thank many people who've been giving in time, talent, and treasure for many, many years here at Althea. And I will also invite you, as you give and share, you may go online. You can scan our QR code. And also, Ricky, we have a square in the back if you have a credit card. But before you also give, know it always comes back to you. Money flows. Money is momentum. Money, my own natural energy yield, as Yolanda Van Zant says. So hold your gift or tithe in your hand, and this is an affirmative prayer, knowing the universe always provides. So together we say, the universe provides all that I need and all that I give. With great joy, I share my prosperity, planting seeds for a world helping manifest. And so it is. Yes. Amen. Abundance is our birthright in every way. And all of your money also, it goes to provide this beautiful building as we make repairs, have other musicians come in, provide classes, workshops, and many other things. Old girl is over 100 years old, and she's doing great. So thank you all. And we're going to pray out. We don't have a closing song today because we're going to start our AGM. Are you doing it, Bob? Okay, you are doing it. Okay. And thank you, Greg. I'd like to give Greg Wilkins a round of applause. Let them see you. Pop up. The man behind the gong. And he's here today after our AGM, so if you want to stay, and we do have yoga mats, you could borrow a yoga mat or sit in a chair. I would invite you. It's very, very powerful to sit into a gong bath and to purge out any old to receive the new of spirit. And with that, Bob is going to pray us out. No, you're not today? Oh, okay, that's for the AGM? Okay, well, I'm going to pray us out. So if you all are willing to hold hands and stand up, and we're just going to close out so we could get in our bodies after our gong meditation. Hey, Greg, you come up with me. Yeah, come up with me. So everyone take a deep breath because we're going to do a blessing prayer for our week. So together we said, God is all there is. Therefore I am. Therefore I am love. Therefore I am oneness. And so it is. Amen. Now we have our annual general meeting.
We're going to start right now, so if you want to have